And if you want to donate to the Jason Thomas family, we've got that Venmo up there. There's also availability to make donations at Zion's Bank. So we'll come back in a little bit to get this varsity of Delta versus Juab going and pay tribute to Coach Jason Thomas, who we lost this last week.
We are now. I just checked. We got everything going. So
is it being broadcast or wait till 7? I mean, are they seeing anything now?
They're seeing. Right now, we've got the Venmo up, so they can see. And so, if we feel like we have about 10 minutes of talking that we can do, and talk about some matches and lineups and kids, and I don't know if we want to start talk.
Oh, before they start, or
if we want to do anything beforehand as a thing, or like whenever we want to kind of start.
Well, I think under the circumstances, maybe just focus on Coach Thomas, and let him start there. But I'm up for whatever you'd like to do.
And then I don't know so do we have any rematches from last year?
I don't think. I was looking at it. It's going to be a good
Trevor,
match.
let's see. So Uriah, he did Uriah wrestle last year. He wrestled Brevin Miller at State and beat him.
So they're matched up again.
Yeah. And how did they wrestle? This is the morning one. So that's a rematch from State. Uriah won. He did win the second round. Jed Abbott, who's he wrestling?
Walgren.
Okay, so that's new. Tegan Anderson, is he on there?
Ray Johnson, he wrestled, looks like Harvey.
In the finals. In the finals last year.
So Suzanne said she can hear and not see, and that's the way it is, right?
Well, can she see ads?
She said I can see but can't hear.
Yeah, she can. I turned off the sound.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to put a microphone just kind of up and away so you get like the atmosphere without us. But okay. I don't know if there's anyone else that would be. Bo Bryan or Tegan Anderson,
want to welcome people who are joining us for Juab versus Delta here at the Palladium. We are about 10 minutes away from things starting off. We just want to let people who are maybe having desire to support Coach Thomas's family, as we lost a great coach, Jason Thomas, this week, that there's an opportunity if you'd like to donate. You can use this Venmo here, or you can also go to any Zions Bank, and they have an ability for you to donate there. We'll be visiting about Jason Thomas tonight and his legacy and the things that he's done for us. They have some sponsorships here of people that have donated things. There's going to be a raffle done to try and help raise money for the family. Medalist Feed is donated. Toda Feed, a water heater that they're going to be raffling off. Jason Smith of J2 Custom Meats. He is also doing 2 halves of pork that will be auctioned off, and then a gift basket is also being donated off. So we appreciate all of those sponsors that are looking here to help sponsor the Thomas family as this Delta Wrestling Nation is kind of struggling through all of this right now. But we'll be back in a few minutes to start off the match for this evening.
He was saying that when they would show the sponsor for
This year or last week?
Last week.
Yeah, I figured that out.
Okay. I almost shot you a text or whatever.
Yeah.
I should have, but it would sometimes you miss the first 15, 20 seconds.
I've never used this thing that the computer can do.
Yeah.
And so I added all the stuff in, but I didn't know I had to add the microphone in to each thing. So I think that should be set in there.
So we would say, hey, so and so's sponsored by so and so, and then the match would start, and it would just have that up on the screen instead of the match, so you'd miss.
Yeah.
So I just
We're learning.
no, that's fine.
No,
I
anytime people
should have
text
shot
me-
that text you because
I'd
it was
rather
that
have
way
a
with
text and ignore it
yeah.
than
Well, I feel
miss it
bad.
because I
We
can
were-
do some stuff.
and my crowd noise right now.
Anyway, you guys are doing awesome.
Hey, well, thanks.
Because I had it on. Yeah, you were talking. I was doing some talking about.
And then she probably sent that text, and then you turned it off.
I don't know if people could hear me because I didn't put the headset on like I should have.
Hey, Jackson.
Yeah, he's someone that I'm okay right now because he's not wrestling. We're gonna get him back.
I hope so.
He needs it. He needs it. It's hard when you let go right now because all you do is wrestle over the kid.
I know. Yeah.
But he's more or less like a kind of into himself.
Yeah.
This is that would be all the positive pressure that he gets.
Yeah, I know his mom and dad like having wrestling.
Okay, welcome to Delta High Palladium. Welcome to Delta High School as the Delta Rabbits are hosting the Juab Wasp on this heartbreaking memorial that we'll have towards honoring Coach Jason Thomas. We're going to step away for a minute as we'll have the national anthem.
Turn the volume up a little. Or is it on? I can't hear you too well. Maybe it was.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Great rendition as one of our cheerleaders, I'm blanking on her name, Winter Rowley's daughter. She sang the national anthem and did a great job in being able to present that out there. So again, welcome to the Palladium. Delta is hosting the Juab Wasp. Over here we have Delta. I'm on the call is Joe Morris. I'm Chad Warnick. And you're going to kind of see as the wrestlers are coming out that in a mode of solidarity, the Juab wrestlers have put on red.
We come together today, united and stark, to mourn the tragic and sudden loss of Coach Jason Thomas, who passed away Monday night in a car accident. Jason was a truly remarkable man whose life was defined by dedication and love in every role that he took on. He was a beloved son and a cherished brother. He was a devoted father whose greatest joy was his children. For 31 years, he was a passionate
So we'll talk a little bit more about Jason Thomas as the night goes on, but we'll go ahead and do our introduction as Trig Wright of Delta is taking on Jack Holman of Juab.
At 113 pounds from Delta, Trey Manus, he's a sophomore, wrestling Leo Larson, a freshman.
120 pounds from Delta, McKinnon McPherson taking on Trevor Cohen.
£126, a sophomore from Delta, Manny Lopez, will be wrestling Liam Nilsson from Juab, a freshman.
132 pounds from Delta, Uriah Anderson. Who'll be taking on from Juab, Brevin Miller.
At 138, we got a great match. A sophomore, Harvey Waldron, a second placer at state, will be wrestling Jed Abbott, a junior who is a returning state champion.
144 pounds from Delta, Trey Bradshaw, three-time state placer, taking on from Juab, state champion Drake Johnson.
And at 150 pounds, a senior, Carter Anderson, will be wrestling a sophomore, Caden Martineau.
157 pounds, sophomore from Delta, Bo Bryan. He's taking on Landon Whitaker of Juab.
165 pounds, Dominic Villegas, a junior, will have a forefoot.
175 pounds from Delta, Easton Stefanoff, taking on from Juab, Xander Nilsson.
At 190 pounds from Delta, a junior, Colton Anderson, will be wrestling a junior, Ladd Holman of Juab, who is a two-time returning state champ.
For Delta, a freshman at 215 pounds, Corbin Curtis. He'll be taking on junior, Kel Blackett of Juab.
And the final match of the night at 285 from Delta, a junior, Cole Bailey, will be wrestling a junior, Ryder Vincent.
Again, I'm here with Coach Joe Morris. As why we are here for wrestling, we are here for maybe a little bit of a larger purpose, and that is for the Delta wrestling family to come together to celebrate and mourn the tragic loss of Jason Thomas, who was killed in a car accident a couple of days ago. They read a little bit down there about Coach Thomas. I'm going to read a little bit, and then Coach Morris has some things about Coach Thomas that we'll mention throughout the night. Coach Jason Thomas has taught and coached for over 30 years. He's been a dedicated teacher, coach, and a leader at Delta High School. Throughout his career, he's poured his heart into teaching English and German and building meaningful connections with students. He constantly encouraged them to reach their full potential. He influenced far beyond the classroom, and he played a central role in Delta athletics, serving both as an assistant and head wrestling coach and helping to lead our teams to multiple state championships. He coached football and spent time as our athletic director. He worked to strengthen programs and build our young people, not just as our athletes. It's now becoming a meaningful part of our legacy. So we'll continue to talk more about him as we have our first match of the evening. At 106 pounds, Trig Wright taking on Jack Holman.
And we got a fall at that first round. Jack Holman, obviously a good wrestler. He's a freshman, but many-time junior high state champ. Coach Holman's son, gone to nationals and Fargo and had a lot of mat time. Trig, just getting started in his wrestling career, went out with some heart, knowing what was ahead of him, but he stepped on the mat. It takes a lot of courage. So the next we have Trey Manus and Leo Larson. Both of them with a lot of wrestling experience.
Trey, a sophomore for Delta, does a great job both on his feet and when he's in control as he's looking to capitalize in, as he has that single shot, elevates it up.
And he's going to have the takedown. A good thing about Trey there is he went from one thing to the next and, never stopped. That fireman's didn't work, but he kept the leg and he's got him over. Now he's going to get some back points. Nope, he got one count, but no more. He's got him arm bar and a half. He's got to settle in, take his time, get his weight right, settle back a little bit. Now he's going to go to a double arm bar.
He got him tight, but that Juab kid is a little bendy and not going quite the way. Can't be comfortable as he'll just get a little bit more leverage, get that hip to come over. He'll get the fall.
Yeah, he's got the fall. That brings the team scores 6-6. So McPherson is now going to wrestle Trevor Cowan. Trevor is a returning state champion. He's a sophomore. McKinnon, a sophomore as well.
Trevor last year, I believe he only lost one match during the entire season on his way to becoming a freshman state champion, 106 pounds. So
yeah, he's a smooth wrestler. You see right there with that, getting in and making that trip. Cut him loose. Go for another takedown. Got an underhook there. McKinnon's trying to counter it, but getting the wrist. So he's going to snap down, get around the head, and looks like he was going to try to go for a near side cradle. Went around for the 3. Scores 6-1. Got the arm bar. McKinnon's trying to lock his hands and pull him out of that, but Trevor is just a little stronger there and pulls him down and gets the fall in the first round. So score is 12-6. Juab. Okay, this is Delta, Manny Lopez and Liam Nielsen from Juab.
Again, we're trying to thank a lot of our sponsors who are helping today. Brought to you by Jake and Nash Christiansen. We appreciate them sponsoring Manny Lopez. Manny, sophomore. This is just beginning his 3rd year of wrestling. Really good, solid on his feet. I don't have much on this Liam from Juab.
No, I don't know what he done in junior high. It looks like an awful solid wrestler.
Is he a freshman?
Yes.
Okay, that's why I don't have much on him.
He gets in on that underhook. And he kind of comes to the side with the.
Oh, who's going to capitalize on this?
Yeah.
No one
Manny's
yet.
just got to use good. Lost the takedown there. You can see with the hips of Larson or Liam Nielsen, the hips of Liam Nielsen. He keeps his body weight spread out pretty good. Keeps in good position there. Got that leg in, trying to get the half, and the ref's going to have to watch that shoulder, but it looks good so far, unless he gets it too far away from his body. You can tell this Liam is worked on that move and pretty confident with it.
Looks like the official was putting his fist together, almost like I thought he was going to call stalemate, but it looks like maybe he's just coming up as he kind of shakes it off. Manny being stubborn, 24 seconds to go as he's refusing to allow himself to be turned. But Juab looks to reposition and try to get a little bit more leverage.
Yeah, Liam's just been in a tough predicament right there. I mean, Manny has just been in a tough predicament right there with that guy with the leg in and keeping that pressure down, keeping that pressure forward on him.
And you can tell a little bit of soreness. Even if that is legal, that doesn't mean that it feels good to have that shoulder torqued over.
Yeah. Nielsen has his choice. He's going to go down. We haven't seen him underneath yet. See what Manny can do on top here. Noticing on both rosters, there's a lot of underclassmen. I think Juab has one senior tonight, and Delta has two.
In the varsity lineup?
In the varsity lineup.
And I think if you look at the roster on both of them, as Manny's, he's able to get the. Nope, no near fall.
Yeah, there's a good scramble right there. Manny came up good to keep that control. He's keeping the pressure on him, which is good. Keep that head down, see what he can work in here. It's like he wants to go for a wrist and half. Nielsen's building a base, coming up, see if Manny can get that head lever there and break him down there.
It's hard to beat a wrist and a head in the armpit. A lot of things can be built out of that.
Yeah, you can get a lot of miles out of that. Nielsen comes to his feet there. And he's going to get the 1-point escape. 4-0.
Yeah, 52 seconds to go in the second period. Nielsen, he likes to go in for that underhook.
Yeah, he comes to the underhook in that head right there. And Manny's in a tough predicament right there because Nielsen is so tight. And then he just sloughed off that.
Oh, go finish.
And that's just the same thing that happened in that first takedown.
And both times it felt like he was just about ready to get enough hips over, but it's not enough, and Juab's able to prevent that from happening.
And that's just a good feel for what Nielsen had there. They both had a good feel. Nielsen just had a little more leverage there, I think, to come up on it. So. Okay, Uriah Anderson and Brevin Miller. Uriah, this is a rematch from state. I believe Uriah met him at some point in state last year, and I believe he got a fall on him.
He did get a fall in the second period against him. So it was in the consolation semifinals at state last year that they met, as Uriah Anderson lifts him up, brings him down, and he's going to get the 3-point.
Yeah, he went on nice double leg. If you could have cut that arm a little earlier, but we got a lead of 3-0. Looks like he wants to get up on that head, ride the body. Both legs in. It's tough for that Miller to build a base out of that.
Yeah. Miller ended up the tournament at state last year, 6th place, while Uriah, was he third? Trying to remember where he ended up.
Yes, I believe Uriah ended up third. He's just trying to get some back points there. He needs to stay careful and stay in position, not get himself trying to get a tilt there. He's going to get 2 points, 3, and he's got the 4 count. 4 back points, 7-0. Going to get the same thing, the arm bar and tight waist, get some more back points. Nothing yet. 1, 2 count. Got 2 so far until he gives up that hold. He's going to not get more than 2 other than
there we go
on the same, keeping the same move. So he will not get those 2 points, but he will get points added upon them.
Yeah, hoping right there he was
so
maybe going to catch the head, but not quite able to.
So he's up 11-0.
Yeah, 20 seconds to go in the first period.
One thing I've noticed with Uriah is he wins a lot by tech, which gives the team 5 points. And I'd like to see him get to the point he's at now and then go for the fall and get that extra team point.
Yep. That makes a big difference in state divisionals and just even these individual duels.
So if Uriah happened to put him on his back and get another 4 count, the match is going to be over. So
Yeah, and he's got
hopefully he
13
gets
seconds.
something. And it's hard to pin with those tilts like you're getting. That's why they're called cheap points. And that's what he's doing right now. So
Oh, careful though, careful.
he's gonna get another 4 points, and that's gonna end the match. And we're 4 points. So at the end of the first round, Tech team 15-0. But
And those
been
get
good
those get a little scary to me sometimes because
Yeah.
I've seen where people have pinned themselves with those tilts, and I don't want him to. But if he ever does, I'd rather it be at a duel than at divisionals or state.
Yeah, I see Coach Day, who wrestled for Millard and now coaches Wasatch in the state tournament, pin himself.
Did he
And,
do it once or twice? 'Cause
Once. I just seen him once.
I've heard rumors that it was twice, but I've never been able to.
Okay, this is Harvey Walgren and Jet Abbott.
This might be the marquee match of the night. You have
Yeah.
Jet, who's a state champ, Harvey, who he took second last year to a different Juab wrestler who we'll see a little bit later.
Yeah, he took second to Drake Johnson in state last year. Harvey did, so now he's got a state champion here in Jet Abbott. Of course, we know Jet Abbott is a Abbott, a Delta name, and Jet started his wrestling here in Delta and ended up over in Nephi. Good kid, good family, good wrestler, hard working, dedicated. Harvey has just been a hard worker all his career in wrestling. Loves the sport, wrestles all year long. Jet's in on a good single leg. Harvey is going to scramble there. Going to see if he can't hook up in the crotch or get an ankle before he gives up 2 points there.
You know, both of these probably could have an argument for being the best scramblers on each of their respective teams when a shot is taken on them.
Yeah.
They're both hard to get that takedown done. Jet looking pretty good as he continues to work his way up the body, but Harvey doing a good job being able to defend it.
Yeah. Abbott's going to finally get the takedown, and he's going to let him go. Feels
Deep
he's
shot.
good on his feet. Jet is so long, and he uses that length really well. You can see that Walgren was in on his legs good, but Jet just reached over with that length, used that leverage. Same thing right there. It's just, he's just perfected that, and he knows his wrestling style. He's comfortable with it, and he uses it well.
He's someone whose offense sometimes is having someone shoot in on him. He can just always counter and turn it into an offensive type of score as he looks to get a cradle against Harvey. Hasn't got the takedown just yet, but there it comes. And time expires before any near fall is awarded.
Yeah, you got the 3 takedown. So it's 9-1. 6-1. Harvey's going to see what he can do on top here.
Both of these, I think Harvey was ranked second in the preseason and Jet third at their respective weight. And so now here's opportunity to match two highly talented wrestlers in the state head to head.
Harvey's trying to maintain control here. He did start on top. See that length of Jet again. He can just reach around and just do so much with that length and leverage.
Stalling called on Harvey just for holding on to that leg.
Yeah, and no improvement.
Which I think that, you know, Harvey might have to look as he goes forward with the season of what's going to be his style to wrestle Jet, as the way he normally wrestles wrestlers isn't being quite effective today. So he's going to have to adjust his style to match, I don't want to say unconventional, but, you know, just a kid very uncomfortable in being able to score from on the bottom.
Jet just, Walgren got a little bit high, and Jet's going to, coach has told Jet to just cut him loose and take him down. Walgren with a nice little shot, but again, when you get down on your belly underneath there with that length, it's a tough go for you. Your arms just aren't long enough to keep on those long legs. 3 takedown and brings the score 11-2 in the second round. He's got a cradle on Harvey, and Harvey's got to try to break the hand clasp. Keep that inside shoulder up.
Yeah. That left shoulder appears to be pretty far up from the
Yeah.
mat, so I don't.
It looks pretty good right now.
But yeah,
So Jet's going to let it go and take those 4. Harvey's got to get hand
5
control there.
seconds.
He's going to get a cradle again and come around. So get the hand control and get him off your head. 15-2 after the end of the second round.
hey, Harvey not having much of a opportunity to see some offensive, so he's going to choose down. Jet looked to the coaches to maybe do alternative start, but they said nope, just go ahead and wrestle him.
Yeah, he's been able to do what he wants on top, so stay with it.
Again, with those long limbs, he's wanting to get that cradle on Harvey they had before. Switches to the barbed wire.
Yeah, he's got the barbed wire now, and Harvey's gutted that out, made him break that up.
I
Jet's going to go to the cross face near leg, try to lift that leg up and step through.
I think Harvey would be pretty hard to turn with the barbed wire. But that short torso needing that long stretch of Abbott, making it difficult for him not to get into a cradle. As now he decides to, it looks like he wants to cut him and go straight into a cradle. Harvey doesn't allow that, so. In on the shot near the edge, 15-13 with 1 minute to go in the third period. Takedown for Abbott will lead to a tech fall. And can't tell if either one has a good position to do it or if they'll do a technical. Oh, they call. Yeah, that's going to be a technical fall as Abbott is able to score the takedown.
Yeah, a good match. They're both good wrestlers. Yeah. Abbott was the better tonight, just was able to wrestle his match. Harvey got under there a little bit. I'm sure he's a little discouraged, but he and Coach Jensen will work on things there, and they'll have a game plan for next time. That's why you wrestle. That's why you get the mat time. Okay, this next match, great match from Delta, senior Trey Bradshaw, couple of times state placer. He'll be wrestling Drake Johnson, a state champion. Again, Drake wrestled in the finals last year against the Harvey Walgren that just wrestled. So, man, that was a great takedown by Trey. Usually he'll do a duck under, but boy, that was great. He's going right after it. Trey is an aggressive wrestler. His motor just keeps going. Picked up a leg to stop him from sitting out or standing up. Break him down a little bit. Looking to control that arm, maybe get an arm bar. Drake just kind of slides out of bounds there.
You know, as they're wrestling, we're looking around the Palladium. You know, we usually have pretty good crowds for wrestling, but tonight we have a full house as so many have come to honor Coach Jason Thomas, and we'll see after this match a little bit of a honor and tribute and some support that's going to come towards his family. As we got the whole lower bowl completely filled and really good showing up in the upper bowl.
Trey needs to lift and dump there. And Drake's a little bit long, and so that is hard to get that lift up. He's got to get him down or he's going to get called for stalling there.
Yep. He does get the stall despite all the effort. You can tell he was trying to do it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to try and mess with that again as he's going to go ahead and give the escape.
Yep, give the escape, and he was successful on that first takedown, so.
54 seconds to go in the first period. Trey Bradshaw leads 3-1 over returning state champion Drake Johnson of Juab.
Both just kind of hand fighting there, as you can see. That's what Trey likes to do, those underhooks, and then just lift up and step by and drop down onto the leg. And Coach Holman is great at seeing what his wrestlers need to do. And you can see there that, they've watched video on Trey, and they're knowing what they have to do with that underhook to counter it. But Trey's good enough with it, and he'll get it. Well, Trey just got a little too close there and just kind of hesitated. When he's going out and wrestling and being the aggressor, then it's better for him. He's a little bit in trouble there. So the score is 4-3 for Johnson. Good first round. Johnson's going to take down. Trey will be up in the second round behind 3-4 to Johnson.
Johnson was having the ability to get up quickly, so Bradshaw looking to throw a leg in to switch that ability for Johnson to come up quickly to his feet. Bradshaw not getting his leg in very well to start as he works to try to get his arm controlled on the left, thinking about trying to throw in that right leg.
Yeah, Johnson's just kind of pushing back. He hasn't been able to get that leg in or anything. I don't know if they're going to call stalemate here in second or what.
Yeah. And Johnson, I haven't seen him yet grab that leg. Maybe he's got a little bit of a hand on it now as Bradshaw's looking to stretch him out a little bit.
Yeah, he's got both legs
there he
in
goes.
now. And
a lot more comfortable in that position.
Stretch that out and go to work.
Official watching inside, probably trying to decide if there's a stalemate as he goes in for the double leg again. Oh, potentially dangerous called, so they're going to stop that.
Yeah, it was hard to see from our position, but I'm sure Trey had that shoulder tweaked a little bit on Drake. So, yeah, that's where Trey needs to be, grabbing that leg and breaking him down, not up on that upper body, trying to get a leg in. He's going to try a leg again, and I just don't know if that's a thing to do with Johnson. Trey's hanging in there. He's got 45 seconds.
Again, he's already got one stall call as they're up to his feet. Bradshaw doing a great job on that mat return.
Yeah, it was a good mat return.
Keeping his hips close and tight. If you can ride a state champion for a round and not let him score, that's a win. And he's got 22 more seconds to do that. And then he'll have the opportunity to choose what he wants to do in the third round as he trails 4-3 with 15 seconds to go in the second period as he throws those feet in again.
Yeah, he's done a good job there to return Drake to the mat, and 5 seconds left in this round. So he's done well to ride Drake the full 2 minutes in the second round. So down 1 point. Trey, I'm sure, will go down unless he goes on his feet, but go down, get an escape, and then get the takedown to win it. So they're both just going to squat off the whistle and see what fill comes. Hook the arm and try to roll it through.
There we go.
He's got a Granby, so he's got the 3 reversal, and he's going to get 4 back points. So Trey,
just stay comfortable in there.
He's going to lead 9-4.
As he starts to lose that arm, he reaches around. Rather than just staying there, shouldn't have done that. He needs to fake. Yep, there we go.
Now,
don't get too high.
I just haven't seen Trey ride with his legs in like that. I don't know what he's doing. He's got to certainly stay behind the arms, and he's leaning clear over on top. You can stretch him out, but still stay behind those arms like he is.
Careful right there, as
he's trying to get some more back points. I like his aggressiveness.
You know, and for this long-bodied kid, comparatively, this might be a
Yeah,
really
he's got
great
more
way.
back points there.
Okay, all the Juab officials come up to their feet. They talk and say full Nilsson, so that's going to be a 1-point penalty.
I don't know if he's not
that-
going to get the. He locked his feet. He locked his legs on the
Oh,
body.
is that what it was?
He did,
Okay.
yeah.
So that was a technical
he's not going to get any
violation.
back points because of the infraction there. So he's going to put his legs in again and
He's
just
got-
try to. So anytime the legs are in on the body they're going to stop it when they come to their feet for potentially dangerous. So they're going to caution Trey. So there are 53 seconds left.
He leads by 4 against state champion Drake Johnson of Juab. Great mat
Well,
return.
that's- You know, that right there is just dominating. When you do that, that just lets the other wrestler know that I'm here to wrestle. So Trey, though, he still makes me a little nervous getting up that high because if you slip off and end up on your back. The thing I like about Trey, though, he's up 4 points, but he's still wrestling. He's not being conservative.
This is a little bit of the long game because this is where you're trying to decide where you're going to try and put this person in at the state tournament.
Yeah.
This helps with, there won't be seeded. There'll be at different divisional tournaments, but still builds with confidence, builds with other people knowing that, you know, Trey's a wrestler and he's looking to make this senior year. Both these wrestlers are seniors. Both are 3-time placers.
Johnson's got his elbow, so yeah, I hope you don't pull through.
Okay, 10
12
seconds. This is where you're just smart.
So
you stay away.
You can't lose the takedown here.
No, but you can take another. Oh, careful, careful.
So there's a stalling warning. 1 point because he got a stall earlier.
There it is.
So he's still going to win the match 7-9. So Trey comes tonight and beats a returning state champion. So good for Trey.
Yeah.
He's a good leader on the team. He works hard. Okay, at 150 from Delta is Carter Anderson. From Juab is Caden Martineau. Caden is a sophomore, took third at state last year. Carter's a senior, a state placer for the last couple of years.
Yeah, last year Martineau wrestled Bradshaw. They wrestled about 5 or 6 times, trading back and forth. They wrestled at state twice. Bradshaw winning the first time, and then Martineau winning the second time, getting third as Bradshaw got fourth. As far as I know, this is the first time between Anderson of Delta and Martineau wrestling together.
Yeah, Martineau got that snap down, got Carter out of position a little bit. Slipped around behind for the takedown, 3-0. Carter's building the base, but he's brought that leg up to the head, and Martineau's got enough experience. He tried to slap that cradle on him. Well, good. Carter's going to come out and get one and then shoot right back in. That's good wrestling for Carter.
You know, both of these teams here in the middleweights, easily we could see matches that could be in the state semifinals or state finals right here. Anderson, 2-time state placer.
Both quick wrestlers, but Martineau was able to get around him, scored 6-1. Carter's building the base there, keeping the head up. Just tell Martineau's ready to slap that cradle on if he brings that knee to the head. So Carter's learned from that first time, I think. Getting some hand control, getting his knees under him. Good job trying to build up here.
25 seconds to go in the first period as they near the edge of the mat. Near fall being counted.
He is getting counted. And again, if you haven't seen wrestling in a few years, then you would say, well, how does he get back points when he's off the mat? And as long as either one of the wrestlers' body part is inside the circle, then they keep wrestling.
And they used to say supporting points, and now it's not even supporting points. It's just anything at all. If you have a toe or a pinky or anything, they're going to keep wrestling as long as you're not near the edge of the mat to where you'd be touching the basketball court.
So at the end of the first round, it's 10-1.
So right now, Delta wrestlers are going through the stands collecting money for the Thomas family as they're trying to help support the family of Jason Thomas. So Delta faithful and even some Juab visitors have pulling out their wallets and making donations to help the children of Jason Thomas, a longtime coach of Delta Wrestling. 31 years here at Delta High School, teacher, coach, football, wrestling, athletic director, and he's done it all here. And so we're kind of, as a wrestling community and as an entire Delta community, it's been a pretty big blow here.
So Carter's going to be tacked in the second round, 17-2, giving the Juab 5 more points to their team, total 28-14. So Bo Bryan will be wrestling Landon Whitaker. Bo is sophomore, Landon a junior. Yeah, as they're getting ready to start this match, and Coach Thomas, I know Coach Thomas and Coach Wright, a lot of the wrestlers will win that area when those two coaches and myself coached. There was a text going around today and how much Coach Thomas had affected their lives. So what a great man, and so many lives he touched in so many ways on that text thread that they were relating. So Bo went out, got a great double leg, took him down, working on an arm bar and a far wrist. Keeping him flat, that's so important. If he can keep him flat there. Now he's going to try to get the near wrist and stack him, but I think if he can keep that far wrist, keep him flat, get tough with it, keep that wrist, make it go, just run that shoulder to the air.
Keep him in bounds as he does it.
Well, what he's doing is letting him up, yeah, and he needs to keep him down. That was great to shoot over to that half. He's got an arm bar and a half with plenty of time on the clock.
There we go. Delta faithful, they feel like that's a pin. They want, not sure quite what the official is missing, because here in the stands, of course, it looks like a pin. And there it is.
So team score 28-20 for Juab.
And we're going to make it 28-26 here right now, as there's a forfeit, and Dominic Viegas will go up and raise his hand and make it a really close duel. 2-point difference.
So 175, Easton Stefanoff, a freshman, against Xander Nilsson, a sophomore. I don't know much about Xander. Easton has wrestled all through junior high, been state placer, junior high state champ. Both guys are pretty physical, so we'll see what we get here.
Yeah, I don't have anything on Xander. Xander not qualifying for the state tournament for Juab, so maybe was in a third position. So, but it looks like a really strong physical kid, as Stefanoff looked like he was going to try and do a throw, slips it off, now trying to go to the edge, but he's not able to get all the way off before 3 points are taken down by Juab.
Well, yeah, he lost takedown, so he's going to have to get to work here. Yeah, he just never got that headlock secured, but boy, he moved out of there pretty quick.
And I think Stefanoff's been wrestling with 190 so far this season. This is his first time that he's been able to wrestle 175, and he's been an underweight 190-pounder this season.
Well, yeah, if he can. Yeah, no back points there. That was good for Easton to fight that off.
Now he's in a little bit of trouble with that half. But he somehow is, half is still on, but he's fought it off.
Gave up three back points, so. Xander's wrestling well. He came to wrestle tonight. He's going from one thing to the next. A lot of energy. Easton's wrestling, moving well. Xander just slides up to keep up with him. Pulls him back under.
minute to go
Well,
in the first period.
Yeah, that was a quick flurry there for just a little bit, and Xander ended up with 6 points. See where we settle in here now. He wants to keep putting those legs in, so he's obviously comfortable with it, and then he gets that half, and that's just a tough move.
And right there kind of hips his forward to try and get those shoulders over.
Yeah.
Easton fighting super hard as he is not in a good position, and he's
Yeah, and then when that body and hips settled in across his chest, there was just too much there to fight that.
And now 190 pounds from Delta, Colton Anderson. And from Juab, Vlad Holman.
So 190, Colton Anderson, a junior, wrestling Ladd Holman, also a junior. Ladd took state as a freshman, as a sophomore, and here's a senior. And boy, all the wrestling, all the mat time that Ladd has had. And he really beefed up. What was he, 126 last year?
no,
or
that
32?
was his freshman year. He wrestled Carson Nilsson.
Maybe 38.
No, he was 150. Let's see, I've got it right here. 157. He wrestled Cash Nilsson last year at the state tournament. But when he was a freshman, he was a little. Now here he is at 190, and he's someone he can wrestle wherever he wants, and he doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, he's really beefed up.
Besides the fact that he's a two-time state champion, he went to the Snow College Invite, which allows high school kids to wrestle college, and he took second. And he was actually ahead in that match. He actually, to get into the finals, he teched the 3 other ones. And he gets into there, and here he is as a junior looking to become a 3-timer. And eventually we'll start getting probably some pretty good offers from colleges to go wrestle, as he is just a next level type of wrestler.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he goes to Cornell like his father did. But boy, just put in the mat time and physical. And
so if I remember right, his grandpa was a 2-time state champ, and his dad was a 3-time. He's looking to become a 4-time.
yes.
And all types of different national honors and All-American things.
And then his little brother Jack, that's 106. You know, he's he was undefeated last weekend at the Ironman.
Oh, that's incredible.
As a freshman.
And there were some good teams. You had Box Elder, Millard, the Slam out of
Vegas.
So there were some good teams there.
There was Canyon View, Utah, but not to get mixed up with the Canyon View, Arizona, who came in and really performed well too. So 2:15, we have Corbin Curtis, a freshman, against Kel Blackett, a junior. Blackett took 5th at state last year. Corbin is just such a good, positive, happy kid. Wants to be in the room, wants to wrestle. He does face an uphill battle being a freshman wrestling this upper weight, but it'll pay off. Just no substitute for this mat time that he's getting, even at this level.
But the one nice thing about him, even though he is a freshman, even though he's wrestling that weight, he's the type of freshman 215er you'd want to have.
Yes.
Tall, big, lean. He's not one that you're just having to fill that weight class, and so he's going to help the team. He's going to have some opportunities to learn as he wrestles some of these older, more skilled, more mature kids. But he's one who's going to help Delta win a lot of matches this year as he wrestles. And all it takes at this weight levels land on top, and some good things can happen. As he's doing a good job so far of keeping from that throw that he's trying to get.
Gosh, if he could reverse cradle right there, reach up and grab the head and reverse cradle him.
Coach Joel Holman telling him to get that right arm and put it behind Corbin so he can get that 2 points. Wrestler thinks better of it, and he wants to get the pin, but there comes a 3-point takedown finally as he has the wrist, gives it up, and is a little high. Corbin, if he could come up right now. Oh, there's a locking of hands. Official completely missed it.
Yeah.
And I thought even from his angle he should have been able to get it. Again, we're talking about him being at this larger weight class. He's really good at wanting to come to his feet today. And He's been up on his feet 3 times just trying to get that little bit more of a separation in order to get that escape.
Yeah, Corbin's not going to quit on you. He's going to keep wrestling. Just like when they went off the mat right there and the whistle blew, he was reaching for the leg because it was there. Because that was what he should go to. Three to nothing after the end of the first round.
It's going to be Juab's choice. Back to neutral.
Kale's got that underhook and just trying to find an opening there to lift that.
Now Corbin's got his underhook in. There we go, there we go. Get on top, there's 3. Is that, oh, nope,
Nice,
not yet.
Still got that arm. And
I thought
gonna
maybe he
slide
had
out.
it. If he can
Needs
slide
to
out there on the edge.
Rubber arm and grab a leg there. Just kind of keep coming in and grab a leg. Keep that post arm out there. Keep
There
on
it
his
is.
hip.
Oh, there we
Steve.
go.
That's good for Corbin.
Tying it up. That's awesome.
Yeah. For big guys, they just both kind of knew what they wanted to do, and Corbin imposed his will there and got the takedown.
Does a good job flattening him out.
Yeah.
Looks to go. Does he have a bar on the left? He does. Has a wrist on the right. He's kind of getting out of position. He needs to get his hips back up. He's in trouble right now unless he's able to roll him through.
Yeah, Kel got that arm hook and kicked
He's
over.
in trouble now.
Yeah, he'll fight. He'll give it all he's got. Win or lose, Corbin's going to give it all he's got.
A lot of time on the clock,
there.
45 seconds.
Darn, thing of it is, Corbin just sunk that elbow a little deep, and Kel hooked it and done what they call a fat man roll and just kind of kicked over him. And
you know, that was a kid who placed last year at the state tournament.
yeah.
And so, I mean, there's a lot of good things I saw from Corbin in there. A lot of things that are hopeful to be able to make that happen.
Yeah, that's a good physical kid, old Kel Blackett, and Corbin held his own. He done well. So this is Cole Bailey. He's a junior wrestling Ryder Vincent, also a junior. I don't have any placing on Vincent of last year.
Yeah, Vincent, I don't think that he did. He did qualify for the state tournament last year. He is tied into the Vincent Ranch as you go through Leamington. So the high school kids that go to school here, they have the same grandma. And Cole Bailey, this is his first time wrestling varsity this season, as he didn't make the initial hydration, and so we've seen him wrestling JV so far this season as they get him kind of cleaned up.
Yeah, Cole Bailey, he took second at divisionals last year.
Yeah, great showing.
So, like you say, had a great tournament, great showing.
Again, both of these are heavyweights. Neither one of them are at the upper limit of their heavyweight, but still getting closer to it. Probably somewhere in that 270 range, give or take. I asked Cole when I could wrestle him. I'm going to have to suck a few pounds, though, to get down to weight so I can.
Did he say come in the wrestling room?
I'll come in there. We're just going to wrestle to takedown because anything past that, I'm not going to have the stamina for.
Yeah, just to wrestle you, he'd probably give weight.
I don't have him in class, so he doesn't need to punish me or try to get any extra credit.
So Ryder Vincent's up 3-0. 1 minute left in the first round, halfway through this first round. Keeping Cole pretty much on his belly there. Cole pushes back on his knee and builds a base. That's tough to do with that much weight. Vincent keeps
between the two of
breaking
them,
him back down.
You're over 500 pounds that you're trying to move. Bailey's doing a good job keeping his head up off the mat.
Like you say, Chad, there was a great turnout tonight to support the Thomas family, Coach Thomas and the family, and recognizing what a legend and what he's done in this community to build good young men and to get the program. The last 3 state championship banners hanging in these rafters was Coach Thomas's.
Was it 3 or was it 4?
Maybe the last 4, yeah.
Because I heard 4, but, like anything in a small town, there might be a little bit of incorrect memory. Either way, if we look at the banners from 95 onward that are up there, he was a coach, whether he was an assistant or head coach.
Yeah.
And, you think about who's come through in that time. There was a lot of head coaches that came from Tim Jones to Russ Henry to Rick Porter, back to Russ Henry. And then, was that when we got Josh Wright?
Yes.
And then after that, Jason Thomas. And so he was the consistency in that program.
Yeah.
And, you look around this room, this Palladium tonight, and it's just filled with wrestlers that he coached through his umpteen years of coaching. And then even when he wasn't coaching anymore, took on the role of athletic director, he was still helping. He wasn't just doing that stuff. He was helping at the scoring table, doing all those things. He was a constant presence in the wrestling program.
Yes, he would go in the wrestling room. He has sons still wrestling at Delta in the junior high. Had his own sons that he coached. And what a great school teacher as well. What a great educator, realizing the importance of an education. I know these wrestlers, he would make sure that their grades were up so that they could keep wrestling. And, if you're not doing your grades, then nothing else matters.
So my daughter, she's a senior this year, and I can't take the honor of being her favorite teacher. Coach Thomas was her favorite teacher. She loved Germany, and just went to Germany on a trip because he inspired it. Is Cole Bailey now in trouble?
Yeah, he locked his hands, but Ryder's still going to get over and get the pin. So Juab's going to win the duel 52-26. We knew it was going to be in for a tough battle tonight. Juab went over to the Ironman last weekend and lost to the eventual champion, the Las Vegas Slam, which is kind of the best wrestlers of the whole Las Vegas area.
Yeah, a charter school whose purpose is to raise wrestlers.
And they lost to them, I think 4 points, maybe 3 in the final duel when the 2 teams came for the championship. So,
again, as we mentioned before, both teams only having on their entire roster 2 seniors. Both these teams filled with a lot of underclassmen that are making up the bulk of the wrestling. Hopefully you're noticing right now as Delta is shaking hands with Juab, so many of those Juab wrestlers are wearing those red T-shirts.
Yes.
Yeah, wanted to show that solidarity for the loss of Coach Thomas that we've had. And even though the duel's over, we haven't had the opportunity to talk about Coach Thomas. And I think that, if you're willing to stay with us a little bit here on this broadcast, we'd like to do a little bit to honor Coach Thomas and the legacy that he had here at Delta. I know, Coach Morris, you've gathered a few thoughts, and you coached with him, and you have just a lot of good insight to the impact that Coach Thomas had on Delta Wrestling.
Yes, I spent many hours with Coach Thomas in the wrestling room, at matches, at tournaments, on a bus more than I want to remember. But, what can you say about Coach Thomas? A wrestling legend at Delta. And what makes you a legend? Certainly the years you put in, but the lives that you touch and the great young men that you make. I know when Coach Wright came in 2006, 7, he got us together as assistant coaches, and he said, my goal is to make great young men, and the championships will come. And Coach Thomas just embraced that and done everything he could to make that happen. But Coach Thomas, he was born a Delta wrestler, and then because he lived here and wrestled junior high. And his dad was the coach of the Little League at the time, Mike Thomas. And then Mike was tragically killed in a motorcycle accident just on the east end of Delta.
I think
And then,
when Jason was 13 years old.
Yeah, and then so Jason with his family moved to St. George, and he wrestled at Dixie High School under Coach Rob Ward, who later became a great high school ref. But then anyway, Jason came back to Delta to teach at the high school, and soon, he became involved in Delta wrestling, coaching. He started at the junior high level and done that for a number of years, and he really built that up. He got the numbers out, realizing the importance of the feeder program. And he built that program up for a number of years before being asked to be assistant for the high school. And he really hated to leave the junior high, but he did feel like it was good to take that next step and go up opportunity and go to the high school. So he assisted under, like you mentioned earlier, he assisted under Coach Tim Jones and Coach Rick Porter and Russ Henry a couple of times, and then Coach Wright came in. And together, there was many state titles taken.
And I think something that would be worth saying is, I don't know of those times when these other coaches came in, if he put his name in the ring. And whether he did or didn't, he wasn't about, if I don't get to be the head coach, I'm leaving. He was vested all in Delta Wrestling, helping whatever way that he could.
That's a good point, and you're exactly right. He kind of looked at what was around him, and if he thought he could be more valuable and supportive being assistant coach, then he was fine with that. He loved wrestling, loved the program, and whatever he could do. But he did become a head coach in 2013 and stayed in, I think you're right then, 2013, 14, 15, and 17. And, the thing about, I remember him, he coached with love, discipline, and exactness. His drills in the wrestling room had the wrestlers perfected in many different things. But at the time, Delta Wrestling was really known for the underhook series on their takedowns, the cheap tilts for back points, and then transitioning from the cheap tilts to the Provo pinning combinations. And that was just their strength. I mean, they've done a lot of things well, but Coach Thomas drilled that so hard at the beginning of every practice that every wrestler was good and exact and efficient with it. And it showed. And again, as I mentioned before, he made sure that the wrestlers were attending to their school, their education. He kept a close eye on them. That was kind of a good thing to have him in the wrestling room and in the high school because, he knew what the kids were grade-wise and stuff. And sometimes kids will kind of think something else is important, maybe not pay attention to those grades, and then, boy, it catches you to where you're not eligible to wrestle.
Yeah, because they can start the season easily, but then here as we get towards that Christmas break, that's the transition. And if your grades aren't up, it doesn't matter if you wrestled in November, December. We need them in the January, February for divisionals and state.
Yeah. But he knew the importance of building good young men and the winning that would come after you build those good men. And the joy of winning, as I remember many of the wrestlers jumping in his arms. That's again, there was that thread today that got started this morning that went out to the numbers that could be found of the wrestlers that wrestled for Coach. This was specifically Coach Wright and Coach Thomas and myself. And boy, just what, the things that these wrestlers learned and were taught by Coach Thomas. And some of the things they remembered. But, I remember wrestlers, which is a little bit custom, to run and jump in their coach's arms. And I remember old Brett Bunk Walker.
Yeah.
He was our heavyweight, and he took state. And, of course, he was a little bigger than Coach Thomas, and he came off the mat and jumped up. And it buckled Coach Thomas's knees, but he still was able to stay up for a little while, but they went down and they were still hugging on the mat. And, just what joy and what great memories on things like that.
Yeah, I
So,
remember that moment at UVU, and that was a standout type of memory that, it's amazing how you can build on something so successful like a state championship, and that just becomes that cherry on top when you see that connection and the emotion and the impact, because it's an attitude of gratitude that's cultivated amongst these kids because they understand what these coaches do, and specifically in this case, what Coach Thomas has done.
yeah, and just some of his sayings were "get mean." I remember he'd say "get mean," and he'd still intensity in his wrestlers. He would do that at practice because at the time the coaches were actually dressing out and wrestling with the wrestlers in the practice, and they would work as hard as the wrestlers. And there was experiences times when some of these guys on this thread text would say, how he would get after them at practice, tell them to get a little meaner, get a little more intense. And another one of his sayings were, double him to the wall and leave him there. Just get tough and get that double leg, drive him clear to the wall and leave him there. And then it was always, we'd always remember coming up about this time of year when we was going to the holidays. He said, you can't take state over the holidays, but you can sure lose it. So don't be stupid. Don't go do something that's going to make you ineligible or get you hurt to not be able to finish the year. So what a great legacy Coach Thomas has left, and what an example he still is to all of these young men. So it's these tough times in life when you lose somebody you love or you lose somebody that's been so important in your life. But on the other hand, he taught them to be prepared for opportunities like this, to be prepared for opportunities in life, to be strong. And so the strength that these young men have gotten, many of them gathered here tonight in remembrance and talking about just the looking back how he built them and helped them be a better person, which helped them to become even a better wrestler.
And if we just take a little pause and look around here, usually the gym empties out pretty quick, and you just see these families and these wrestlers and these former teammates. They're just sitting and visiting. And I just have to imagine that almost all of them are conversations about Coach Thomas. We see people, embracing and giving hugs to one another. People that haven't seen one another, family members. Down here we have some of Coach Thomas's family that at this time, are feeling hopefully enveloped by this wrestling community and about this Delta community that cares so much for this Thomas family.
Yes, and as we were talking, they had the raffles and stuff, so the money that's being raised and donated to the Thomas family, just a great outpouring of love and support. Most people in red, again, the Juab team came over and respectfully wore red and showed their support as well. And wrestling
and
is...
Can I show you this picture real fast? So here is a lot of the student body today. They tried to take a picture. We couldn't even fit everyone in. Here's the staff. Here's the student body of the kids that just for right now had that impact. Now that's 1 year. Now we expand that for every year that I was here, and this picture just grows and grows.
Yeah.
And we're talking about hundreds of wrestlers. We're talking about thousands of students and countless other people in the community that this one individual just so positively impact. And I just can't help but think that he's going to continue to impact us. Yeah. His memory's not going anywhere. The lessons that he taught to us, to his students, to the wrestlers, they're not going anywhere either.
Yeah, take a look at that picture. Like you say, 31 years. So you 31 times that picture that you're looking at. And that's a lot of influence. And even getting back to these wrestlers and their memories, that these wrestlers are going to teach their kids the things that they learned from Coach Thomas. So what a great ripple effect it has to just continue to build good young men, good people, and the difference you can make in this life.
and I'm sure you have a few more thoughts. And just for anyone who's still watching or watches this later, if you feel like you want to help, if you feel like that's something that you can do, there's a couple ways that you can do that. Hopefully you see this Venmo showing up here on the screen, and that's going to be overseen by Coach Thomas's son, Jace. Zions Bank has some accounts set up to where if you would like to donate to the family, and I know a lot of times at this time people want to help and they don't know exactly how they can. So we'll leave that up for minutes as Coach Morris continues to share a little bit more maybe of his thoughts of the modern legend of Coach Jason Thomas. Any other thoughts that you have for Coach Thomas that you'd like to share, if you can?
It's again, you look down here and some people are still lingering. You have some of these wrestlers that, again, have their kids here. And you can see all of the strength here and how life continues to go on even though we have these tragedies. But I really believe at some point everything will fit together so perfectly, and we'll understand why things happen the way they do. But as we linger here in this mortal existence, then, we can find strength in what he taught, what he exemplified, and again, the legend that he was. You don't build a legend by, jumping around and doing this and that. You build a legend by being anchored and keeping your morals and teaching those morals and the values that you have through your example and through your teachings to others. But again, nobody's going to care what you say unless they see that you're living it or doing it, and Coach Thomas did that. So just what a great man. We'll continue to move forward in the next couple of days and have his service, and there will be tears, there will be hugs, but we'll continue to move on knowing the legacy that he left and how he made us, how he made this high school, and certainly how he made this wrestling program a tradition, and what a thing to honor.
Yeah. And part of his legacy is his 7 kids. He has 4 grown children. He has 3 that are still in the high school, one in the middle school, well, one in the high school, one in the middle school, and one at the elementary school. And I think one of the legacies that I just, as you were talking that I thought of is his oldest son, Jackson. He's in his first year teaching here at Delta High School. And just like his dad, he said, what's the opportunity that I can give to the community? And it was to coach Little League football. And he coached my son.
Wow.
And it's a special moment for me to think about. And I didn't really think about the impact until today. But here's Coach Thomas. He coached me. Now his son's coaching my son. And that legacy is going to live on. So we talked about that impact that he had. And that impact's not done.
Yeah.
Because of his children, because of the wrestlers. Would be interesting someday to look down the coaching tree of Coach Thomas to see how many other people that are impacted. And it's just that rolling snowball going down the hill that's just gathering, and just so many wonderful things. And there's not the time or the space or the availability to share all the things that it's impacted. But I think all those are being shared conversation by conversation. As still as we look out here, there's got to be at least a couple hundred people still on the court just visiting. And usually by this time, it's just the custodians here at the Palladium.
Yeah. Well, it's a good evening again, Delta. I even to finish up the wrestling, we do have a lot of young wrestlers, and we have a lot of freshmen and sophomores, and some of those freshmen and sophomores are the heavier weights.
Yes, they are.
So by the time, we continue to work on this, and, by the time they're juniors and seniors, not only this year and next year, but, boy, the next 2 or 3 years, I think they're aligning to be really competitive.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there's there are good things happening. Sometimes you wonder about patience, but we're just going to have to be patient a little longer.
Mm-hmm. And that patient comes with staying with it, being involved, continue the pipeline going, supporting kids. And if for no other reason, you said it earlier with the idea of we're not here to train state championship teams.
Yeah.
That's a byproduct. We want to have state championship young men. And I will quite often tell any of my students, I'm like, hey, go see if you can find my name over on the state championship wall. They never can because it's not there.
Uh-huh.
But I would go back in an instant and spend every agonizing minute in that wrestling room because what I know the lessons that it teaches. Because I was taught the hardest thing you'll ever do in life is wrestle for Delta High School. Now, I don't know if it's the hardest thing that anyone ever has to do. It's the thing that gives you the ability to go through the hardest things that come in life. And I will forever be an advocate. And I don't think any other program, no matter how good it is, at this level can do the same thing. And, you know, this is maybe a little off topic, but you look at the SIL program, and you look at the statistics of who are successful candidates at the SILs. The ones at the highest level that have the highest pass rate are those that wrestled in high school.
Yeah. Yeah, you see that in the NFL too, you know, just talk about how this, or even college, how this kid was a state champion or a wrestler in high school, and it's kind of helped him become a better football player. But, you know, I was thinking, Chad, when you said, you know, you tell them to go look on the board and see if they can find your name, but, you know, there's 194 names on that state championship board that are individual state champions, and, you know, that's quite an honor right there.
Yep. And you start looking at those who are state placers.
Yeah.
And that number just grows exponentially.
Well, yeah.
And then those that were just in the room with them, and that's the legacy of Delta Wrestling.
Yeah, the state placers' names aren't even up there. It's just, you know, the state champions, and 194 of them is quite a legacy. And Coach Thomas was a part of. I'd have to, you know.
We need to go figure out what that is.
I think I'll do that. I think I'll go home tonight and look back and see when he started coaching and see how many he was a part of. See how many state champions he was a part of. So.
Well, I don't know if he was here for the 93 season, but I know he was here for my freshman year starting in 95. The fall of 95, he was coaching in the wrestling room. I think he maybe came that year of 94, 95 was maybe his first year at the high school. I'm not for sure, but that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, we'll have to follow up on that and give some numbers. It'd be interesting to see how many state champions. But I am going to sign off and go down and
visit with some
I'm
of
going to
your
go down and
wrestlers.
visit with some of these wrestlers that I was involved with. So.
Yeah, well, thank you so
Okay,
much for
thanks,
doing
Chad.
that. And hopefully you're watching. Hopefully you're knowing Coach Thomas from everyone with Delta Wrestling, all of your students, everyone in the community. Thank you for all that you've done to help all of us.